spending time with her husband, friends, family, including her 12 grandchildren. In her spare time, she connects and celebrates with the women involved in motorsports, taking you behind the wall about their journey of life, racing, and how they juggle everything to make it all work. Welcome to Racing Girls Rock Podcast. Strap in, window nets up, the pedals are down, and when the green flag drops, we go.
Good evening, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with Racing Girls Rock Podcast. I'm sponsored tonight by the International Women's Motorsports Association and Send Out Cards. If you would like to know more about either one of those, go to iwmanation.com or sendoutcards.com/IWMA, and you can learn more about both of those. You can also get a hold of me. You can also get a hold of me on Facebook, and I'd be happy to tell you more about both of those. So my guest tonight is a young gal from South Carolina, Alexis Motes. I met Alexis and her mother through Facebook almost probably close to a year ago, when I put out a note saying, if you're a woman in motorsports and you'd like to be involved in a project with me, get a hold of me. And Alexis and her mom reached out. Alexis has been in our magazine. And so now we're going to have her on with our podcast so that you can see her and hear from her firsthand. So Alexis, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All
Glad
right.
to be here.
So Alexis, let's start with a little bit about who you are and where you live, because a lot of our people probably don't know you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your family?
Well, I'm an only child, and my mom and dad, they decided to stop at one because they say I'm a handful. So, but no, it's just kind of we just kind of do everything together almost. Like it's kind of like a good family thing, and that's how we kind of got into racing. But I mean, I'm 16 years old, and we live in South Carolina, so
Okay. So do you have any pets?
I have a cat. Yes, ma'am. Her name's Journey after the band because my mom and her dad were really big Journey fans, so they like it.
Okay. I'm a big Journey fan too. I like
Well,
them
that's
as
good.
well. So when you were a little girl, you were an only child, so you probably learned to play by yourself really well. Did you play with
Yes, ma'am.
dolls or cars?
I really didn't ever play with either one, which is kind of weird. I just never picked up in toys in general. It was just kind of I was always just outside in the dirt because like our front yard's kind of weird. It has like a grassy area and then one spot that's just pretty much like sand and dirt. So I just always played over there and on the swing set and stuff.
And you don't get the snow and the cold temperatures like we do here, so it's easier to play outside pretty much year round. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, for the most part.
So do you have a favorite food?
I don't know. That's kind of hard. I mean, my favorite foods probably has to be pasta. I don't know. I'm just really big on like Italian food in general.
Okay.
So,
All right. And how about a favorite vacation spot? One that you've been to or that you would like to go to?
um, well, my favorite vacation spot that I've been to is probably Miami, Florida. But the one that I want to go to is somewhere in Alaska.
Okay. I have a friend that just went on a cruise there and it was
Oh,
amazing
that's
from the
cool.
looks of the pictures. So
Yeah,
that'd be a great place to go visit.
it is.
So, why don't you tell us a little bit about, I know you go to school, so let's do that first. What grade are you in school?
I'm in the 11th grade right now.
Okay, so this year and then next year you'll be the big senior and you'll be thinking about college or what you're going to do after. So what are your
Yes.
thoughts? What do you want to do after you get out of high school?
After high school, I want to be a mechanical engineer. So I either want to take 1 year and do it with Hendrick Motorsports, which is in North Carolina, and I want to do that for a year and then go to college, or I either just want to go straight to college and be a better engineer before I do that.
Okay. All right. So do they have a school that you can go to?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look more into it, but I know they said they wanted like not really interns, but people to come in and like watch and help and stuff at Hendrick. So I was thinking about doing that for a summer or two.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. You make a lot of good connections that way too.
Yes, ma'am, definitely.
So tell me about how you got started in racing. How old were you and where did you start?
I grew up around racing, but I didn't start racing until I was 14. 14 years old. But my dad raced for 5 years before I did, and like my whole life, I've kind of always wanted to race. But my dad got into it before I did because his dad raced, and his godfather was David Pearson. So that just kind of the racing thing's kind of been in our family my whole life.
Okay.
So it's just kind of something I grew up into and always wanted to do.
Okay. So what did you race first? Where did you start your racing career?
My career started in the front wheel drive or Hornets, whatever it's called, depending.
Yeah.
So that's where I started
Okay. And how many years did you drive that division?
for 2 years.
2 years. And so this year then, what are you driving?
This is my first year, and it's in rear wheel drive, stock 4, Pro 4. It changes again, also depending on where you are and stuff, but it's still 4-cylinder. It's just rear wheel drive.
Okay. So what's your car number and how did you choose it?
This is a funny story. All right, so my car number is number 12, and that's because 12 has been my favorite number because I was born on October 12th. I was 4 pounds and 12 ounces, and then my like height had to also do with 12, but I don't remember that for exactly. And I was born at 11:12 at night. So I just kind of figured since there's so many 12s and like the way it was like in my birth and stuff, I figured I might as well just keep it alive with me throughout the years. So
That's a pretty good reason to have that number. One of my favorite numbers is 11 and the other favorite is 55. I was born in 1955, so that tells you how old I am. And my phone number, the last 4 digits are 1111. And everywhere I go, when they ask you for your phone number and I give them that, every time almost they'll be like, "Oh, that's a really cool phone number," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
never going to give that phone number up. It's
Oh,
a
that's
great
cool.
phone."
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've raced it. You're only in your third year, so you started a little later than some of the other kids or people that you're driving against. So,
Yes, sir, ma'am.
what's the best thing about being a race car driver?
I would have to say it's just, I don't know, that's kind of like a hard question to answer because I know different people will have like different opinions and stuff on it. But I feel like my most like favorite and like best thing about being a race car driver is just the fact of seeing like the little kids and they're like wanting to be like you and looking up to you and like setting a good example for the little ones, because nowadays there aren't many people that are still doing good with their life, so to say. And so I just know that like with me racing and keeping my life on track and like on the right steps is showing little ones that like there's still a hope, so to say.
Okay, good answer. So,
Right.
so who helps you with your car?
Mainly my mom and my dad. They're the ones that are always out there every night, even when I can't be because I'm doing homework. So I would say they are definitely the most people that help with my car. But we also have friends, as my boyfriend and his parents. They'll come over and help on the car and stuff as well.
Okay. So, do you have marketing partners that help you race, or is it your parents?
We have some marketing. We have some of them, yes, ma'am. But the majority of the time, it's just my parents.
Okay. All right. So, what's your home track? Where do you normally race?
This year, it's Carolina Speedway up in Gastonia, North Carolina. And then as the year has progressed, it has became on Saturday night, our track has became East Lincoln Speedway. And I think it's in between like Lincoln and Shelby, North Carolina.
So how far is that for you to drive to go to the racetrack?
Each one of them will take about 45 minutes to an hour, give or take, on traffic and stuff.
All right. So not that far to go.
No, ma'am.
Pretty close. Yeah. So is there another track that you would really like to race at?
I mean, that's local.
Anywhere.
I don't really know. I mean, there's a lot of them. I mean, like, I always wanted to try, even like non-dirt track ones. Like, I always want to go to like Talladega and I know I've raced on, my favorite track that I've raced on though would definitely be the Charlotte dirt track race. That one. That's the one that I always wanted to do, and I finally got to do that last year, so that was really exciting. But I don't really know which one that I really want to go to, honestly.
Have you ever been to Eldora?
No, ma'am.
Oh, you want to go
That would be cool.
Yeah, you want to go to that track. That should be on your list. That should
Yes.
definitely be on your list. Yeah. So, what do your friends think about you racing a car?
They kind of think it's weird but cool at the same time. So like they'll be like, yeah, that's cool, but then like they never come and watch me because they're like, it's dirty and like it's not really them, I guess, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
But the guys are the ones that are more into it and think it's cooler than the girls. They just think it's weird. So
yeah, my granddaughter races locally here, and my son-in-law said the worst thing about having a daughter that races is all the boys that it attracts.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. So when you're getting ready for race day, do you have a routine? Do you wear the same thing? Like, I know you wear your race suit, but I mean,
yes.
Yeah. Do you have anything special that you do every day? You eat something the same? What do you do on race day?
Oh, on my Friday, I don't know. Like I normally try to wear the same thing, but like it depends sometimes because like what I know in the summer, it's different depending on the season. So like in the summer, I always wear like a tank top, but then in the winter, I normally wear like short sleeves or long sleeves. But food wise, I try to not eat on race day. I don't know. That's just something that I've acquired over the years. So I guess that's pretty much the only thing I guess I should say.
Okay. All right. So what are the colors of your race car?
This year my colors are white, black, a maroon, burgundy type color. It's like a neon yellow, and then like the gray, silver, metallic color.
Okay. You'll have to send me a good picture, and I'll put it on my page with
Alrighty.
the podcast when we record it or when we play it. So when you're at the starting line, or you're going around the track and they're going to drop the green flag, what's going through your head?
One of my biggest fears is missing a shift. That's probably one of my things, is like, don't miss. But another one is I always say, while I'm in the race car, I always say a prayer to just like keep us safe and all that. But that's just pretty much it. Just to do my best, and I know whatever happens, whether it's my fault or not, it happened for a reason. So I kind of need to be like thankful for it, because something worse could have happened always. So just like that, I guess.
Okay. So are there other girls that race against you at either one of those tracks?
On my Friday track at Carolina, in my division there is no other girls. But in the front wheel drive division, I raced with like one or two other girls, but they weren't weekly. And then at my Saturday night track, there is this one other girl, but like she's older. So I don't think I'm the youngest one in my division, but I am the youngest girl in my division.
Okay. And have you probably always been the youngest girl, or one of the few girls that race?
Yes, ma'am. For
Yeah.
the most part, yes.
I thought so, yeah. So you were talking about, being a role model or little girls looking up to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a little girl and her mother, they came up to you after the races and said, my little girl's interested in getting into racing, what do you think about that? What would you tell them?
I've had people do that before, and I always tell them, just follow your dreams. Because like, even I hate like when they say they're like, oh, I'm a girl, I can't do this. Like, that's not true. Like, you're a girl, you can do anything you want. Just try your best at it, and just shoot for the stars. Honestly, just go for it.
Yeah. Once you're in the race car, it's just a race car. It's not a man, woman, boy, or girl in there. It's a race car driver. Yeah, that's right. So how did your mother feel about, and your dad, how did they feel about you getting into the race car? I guess your dad probably was not as worried about it maybe as your mom.
Yeah, my dad was more for it than my mom was. My dad was ready for it, but when I first asked, I think I was like 10 or something, and then it took 4 years to finally convince my mom and actually let me do it.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad was down for it, and my mom was just, you're my only child, I don't want to like do anything like that. So
yeah,
that took a while.
Yeah, she didn't want to lose you in any way, shape, or form. So I get that. I understand that.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you could race any kind of car other than the one you're racing, what are your goals? What would you really like to race at some point?
My ultimate goal in dirt track racing itself is to drive a sprint car. Everyone tells me no, because they're like, it's too dangerous and they're too fast and all this and that. But I don't know. I just want to really bad. That's my dream, my goal, definitely.
Okay. So do you know a young gal named McKenna Hassey?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to connect you to her, regardless of, hopefully your parents don't get upset. She drives a race car in Knoxville, Iowa. And she's in college, and she started her own race team when she was young, like 10 or something. It was crazy. She's got a great story, and she's a wonderful young woman. I'm going to connect the two of you. You need to follow her and talk to her, and maybe she could give you some advice, yes or no, about whether that's a good thing to get into. But she does very well in sprint cars. So
that's good.
We'll get you connected.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So do you think that being a girl racing has any downfall to it? Has there been anything like, have you been treated differently because you're a girl, or do they just treat you like one of the drivers?
Different people will do different things. I know guys that are closer to my age, I don't want to say intimidated, but they don't like it as much. But the older guys, they're kind of just like, go for it. Everyone's kind of like, yeah, girl, go you, until you start outrunning them and beating them. Then that's when they don't like it. So, because that's how my first car, when it got totaled, a little kid, he was about my age, a little bit older actually, he took me slam out into the wall because I was beating him, and he was just like, you're a girl, you can't do that, and all this and that. So everyone will definitely have their own preferences.
Yeah, that's probably right. Most of the time I hear that they're treated pretty well. So
Mhm.
I can see where kids your own age, boys your own age, might be more intimidated than
Yes.
other people. Yeah. So what's been your proudest moment in your race career?
Oh gosh. My proudest moment is probably my first win, only because it was so that whole weekend was pretty much just kind of like a first type weekend. So like everything that hasn't happened before actually happened. So on Friday night my car got totaled, and then we spent all night trying to get my other car ready. Like we got no sleep that night, and then on Saturday we went to to Lancaster Speedway in South Carolina. We went there, and I won my first race there. So that was kind of like going from like to having not a car at all to winning your first race is kind of something that I was really proud about.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So how many times have you won a race? You know? You're froze, Alexis.
Yeah.
There, let's try it again. You were frozen.
Right.
So how
Oh, you got
many races have you won? Do you know?
11, give or take 11. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I figured you would know how many.
Mhm.
So you're a pretty successful young lady in the driver's seat. How much, I know you said your parents work on the car. Are you getting to learn more and more about your car and able to do more on it? Or are they mainly the ones that work on it?
I know when I was in the front wheel drive division, I knew a lot about those cars. I knew a lot more about those than I do of my car now, mainly because for my 10th grade year, my 11th grade year, I'm working harder to graduate early, so I'm taking the harder classes where I have more homework, so I'm not able to be out in the shop as much. And plus, I'm working now, so it's just kind of a thing where, like, as much as I hate to say it, I don't have as much time to be out in the shop. I would love to be out there a lot more than what I am, but I definitely am out there as much as I can.
Yeah, because the school's got to come first, and a job is a responsibility. Those have to come first, don't they?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I know that you're on social media. So tell us, how do you use social media to promote yourself, brand yourself, share your wins? What do you do on social media?
I personally do not really do much to like promote myself and get myself out there. But I would definitely say my mom, she's the one that kind of like admits everything, and she's like the admin for all of the YouTube. Well, my dad does the YouTube, but
Are you frozen again? Maybe jiggle your mouse or refresh your screen.
then my mom does like the face.
Okay, you're back. I'll cut this stuff out, so don't worry about it. Refresh your screen again. Yeah, you're frozen. Come on.
Are
Okay,
hello.
let's try that again, and I'll cut some of this out.
All right.
So I know that you are on social media some, but your mom probably is on it more. But how do you feel about promoting yourself, branding yourself, using social media to get your name out there?
I don't know. I mean, my goal isn't really to like kind of get out there and like be like known, so to say. I'm just kind of in it for like the fun and enjoyment of just racing itself. But I mean, it's cool to like be walking and people like, hey, you're Alexis. Like, yeah, that's cool, but I don't know. I wouldn't promote myself. I just kind of let my mom and my dad do it.
So you're pretty humble, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not much of a people person. So I don't like it when like everyone's like, hey, and I'm just like, hi.
Okay.
So
All right. So you
I am
probably
more
like
humble.
you like being in the race car because you're in there by yourself and you can.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. So, do you have a bucket list? I know you're kind of young, but do you have any kind of goals or things on your bucket list, racing or non-racing related?
I don't know if I would call it being successful because you can be successful in whatever division or anything you are. But I definitely want to make it to a sprint car one day. And NASCAR, I don't really have to go to NASCAR because personally, I don't really watch NASCAR. I just kind of stick with dirt. But non-racing wise, something I definitely want to do is I want to see the Northern Lights. I don't know why. That's just something I've always been like, I want to do this before I die. So
That's something very cool to do. I think
yes.
there's a lot of people that probably have that on their list.
Yes, ma'am, definitely.
So when you first started racing, you started at 14 because your mom finally gave in. She caved.
Yes.
So where do you see yourself? I mean, you say you're in it for the fun, which is great. That keeps short track racing alive. So is that kind of your goal, just maybe to move up to a sprint car, but stick more locally and not the national scene? Come on. Oh, we're froze up again. Are you there? There you go. Did you hear my question, hon? Okay, she's back. Did you hear my question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
So I think it would be cool to be able to like go like non-locally and kind of make it out like nationally, so to say. But I think I would rather prefer to just like stay locally and not have to like, I don't know. I think traveling is cool too, but like I prefer to just be more local, so to say.
Okay. So do you have any kind of a special experience, or it could be good or bad, anything that's happened in the race car or maybe out of the race car that has happened because of racing? Like, have you met somebody cool? Did you have a really exciting race at some point? Anything that kind of sticks in your mind that would be more of a special thing that's happened?
One night at Carolina, this was last year, or no, it was my first year racing actually, so it was 2 years ago. We were just at Carolina. Dale Jr. was in there. I think.
I lost you.
Also, I know Dale Jr. was in.
Can you hear me, Alexis?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's do that question over because I keep losing you.
Okay.
So have you got to meet anybody special or do anything that's been like extra special fun because of being involved in racing?
I haven't met anyone, but I think it'd be really cool to. But one night at Carolina in my first year of racing, we were just kind of like, and it was an everyday normal night. We were just getting ready to go out for hot laps, and you know, it was just everything was normal. And then this camera crew walks in, and like I don't remember who they said they were here for, but then they stopped going to them and they came to me instead because they thought it was just really cool for a girl to be in a race car, and I was the only one that night. And so they put me in a documentary, and I know Dale Jr. was also in that documentary, and I don't remember who the other NASCAR driver was, but he was in there too. And then there was this one other dirt track racer. He was in the Army or Marines or something, and he got his legs blown off. So I just thought it was really cool to be in there with like Dale Jr. and then someone as a hero as the other guy was. So I just thought it was very unique.
Yeah, that's very cool. I'd like to see that documentary. That sounds very cool.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Yeah, I can send you the link. And
all right, that'd be great. Why don't you send that to me?
All righty. Yes, ma'am.
So, Alexis, what do you do for fun when you're not racing?
I mean, it's like I don't really know because like throughout the week I'm doing homework, and then I'm racing on Friday and Saturday, and then I'm working on Sunday. So, I mean, the only time I ever really see anyone is my boyfriend. So
you're pretty busy.
Yes, ma'am. I don't really ever have like free time, so to say, other than racing.
Okay. So when does your racing season start and when does it end?
I know it starts in May, sometimes June. It depends. It changes from year to year. And then it ends around in between October and November.
Okay. So
sometimes there will be one towards the end of November, almost December, but those are like the bigger special races. So
okay. A little longer than Michigan. We start at the end of April, 1st of May, when you have to have your winter coat on. And then we end usually middle to the end of September. So it's not that much time.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Alexis, why don't you tell us, if somebody wanted to follow, you know, where you race, do you post that anywhere? Would they be able to find that on social media somehow?
Yes, ma'am, they would. On Facebook, we have a Facebook account that is specifically just for my racing promotion, I guess, so to say. It just like puts everything out there with like a weekly update and just everything about us, so to say. And the link is, the name itself is Blackjack Motorsports - Alexis Motes. Okay. And then we also have a YouTube account, which I'm pretty sure it's the same title thing. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But that's where we put all of our GoPro videos up. We have a front-facing one and a rear-facing one for every heat race, main event, and hot laps for every race that I do too. So. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yes, ma'am. So do you look at those later and dissect them, or you just be like, nope, I'm on to the next race? If I had time, I definitely will. And if I recall something that I know that I should have done differently, I would definitely go and watch that GoPro and be like, okay, well, I should have done this instead of this, and kind of like analyze it. But I will if I have time, but not all the time. Okay. Because you're a busy girl. That crazy homework and getting a job. So, yeah. Yes, ma'am. So is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you would like to share with our listeners about yourself, your family, your race team? I would have to say that just in general, I think I'm really lucky to be in racing as my hobby because like nowadays, it's kind of hard to find like true friends and people and stuff. But like in racing, everyone's like one big racing family. And even if they're like your enemy out on the track, on the pits, or like not on the track racing, you're all friends. So I just think it's really cool to be able to like say, yeah, we race together and we're competitors and enemies on the track. But like right now we're just like chilling and like having fun. So I just think that's really cool. You know, that's the best part about racing because yes, ma'am, it is. Even if, let's say you said, I don't want to race anymore, but I'm still going to go to the races, those people are always going to be your friends. Yes, ma'am, always. If you need somebody to have your back, yeah, they might be competitive on the track, but when you get off, they would usually do anything for each other, and that's my favorite part. Yes, ma'am. And, like, that's even how, like, it's really, it's kind of a funny story because my mom and my boyfriend's mom, they like went to high school together. They went to school together and stuff, but then they like lost like contact and talking to each other. And then 2 years ago, it was just ironically that they showed up at the same track I was racing at for my first time. And so like that's how we met. So like racing's kind of like what brought us all together as like a one big like family and friend type thing. And then even like the other people who help on my car as well. We met them through racing like many years ago, and they've just kind of like stuck with us, like helping, because before my dad even raced, we helped other people as well. So like they stuck with us, even helping other people to my dad racing and then through me. So it's just kind of like racing what like holds everyone together. And I feel like my racing family is more of a family than sometimes what actual family members seem to be, because blood sometimes just doesn't always cooperate. And with the racing, it's like we don't always cooperate, but then we always find that middle line. So I just think that's really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. And you're right. You can pick your friends, but not your family. And sometimes it just, families don't always get along. That's just life. You know, it's just how it is. And that's reality, isn't it? So.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, Alexis, I'm so glad that we got to talk face to face.
Yes, I am too.
You and your mom were so supportive of the International Women's Motorsports Association right from the beginning.
Yes, I have a decal of it on each of my race cars to always show that out there. So
okay, well, I appreciate that. Take a picture of that for me, will you, and put it on our page. That would be awesome.
All right.
So, unless you have anything else, I'm going to let you go and get back to your schoolwork. But I appreciate the time you took tonight to talk to me, and we'll be talking to you soon, and I'll be still watching. I keep track of what you do. So
well, thank you.
I'll be watching the rest of the season. So tell your mom I said hello, and we'll see you soon.
All right, I'll see you soon. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Racing Girls Rock Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at International Women's Motorsports Association, or on Instagram and Twitter at the IWMA Nation. And if you know someone that should be on our show, drop us an email at iwmanation@gmail.com.